fact, I will move on to something that is deeply corrupt and one of my great battles: the corruption of the media and social media. That is to say, I removed the official advertising. That's why you will see that even though we generate wonderful news, every week in large quantity, the media speak terribly. In other words, they demand to have a monopoly on the microphone. That is, they are entitled to insult, hurt, offend, and they don't want anyone to bother them. And they expect me not to even respond. That's why a large part of journalism in Argentina hates the X network. And that's why we, the liberal libertarians, love the X network. Because we can all say what we want. However, let's say these supposed journalists who defend freedom of expression, actually what they want is to censor the ideas they don't like. And of course, because they are leftists, because they are wokes, because they can't stand the competition, because if they had to fight face to face, hand to hand, on a level playing field, when it comes to ideas, they would lose because they were a failure in the economic, social, and cultural aspects. And also, we must not forget that those murderers called socialists killed 150 million people. So they clearly cannot fight on equal terms. Therefore, they demand that social networks have censorship and that the truth cannot be told to them. Because when you tell a socialist the truth, they cry, claiming it's hate speech. No, it's not hate speech. It's that you are useless people who have ruined the planet. They have made the planet much worse. And fortunately today, thanks to social media, especially due to the enormous and brave work of Elon Musk and the role of Twitter, today, X, right, allows information to flow, which makes it possible, let's say, to expose politicians and also expose the media. And that's why journalists in Argentina are so violent. Why? Because before they could, for instance, a journalist went and, for example, he would go to a person and he would throw a folder at them and say, if you don't give me X amount of money, I am going to publish all of this and tarnish your reputation. And I know for a fact a case of a journalist who carried out this extortion twice to a businessman. That businessman told him that he wasn't going to pay. And evidently the journalist did it. Obviously, they went to court, there was a trial, and that journalist lost both times. But that process is very slow, and in the meantime, they smeared. So since the justice system takes a long time, so what is the problem? The problem is that in the meantime, your life got dirtied. So why can journalists do all this? Well, that's why they dislike X. They dislike social media. They dislike the new form of communication because it took away their monopoly over the microphone. And by taking away the monopoly over the microphone, it removed the economic benefits of extortion. So clearly, that's another battle I'm fighting. You read a newspaper in Argentina, and 85% of what you read is a lie. That is to say, the fundamental characteristic of most journalists, not all, but the vast majority of journalists in Argentina, with some honorable exceptions, is that they are liars, slanderers, and defamers. And if the monopoly they demand were still in place, that they want to reign again, I have no doubt that they would demand money in exchange for silence, because that's what they are. They are extortionists, they are thieves, they are corrupt. And then, of course, obviously, when you take away a privilege from a sector, they get upset. Well, welcome to freedom.